Hey everybody, it's Inform the Confused. I'm Alan.
And I'm Bobby.
And today we're continuing RWBY. First we have the next World of Remnant video on the CCT. And then we have Volume 3, Episode 7, The Beginning of the End.
Ominous.
Yes. Last time we left off, some shit happened.
No, I don't remember that. It was a pretty smooth, very quiet episode. They were knitting. They were just making tea. It was very quiet.
Yeah, you're right. For some reason, I thought some crazy stuff
Weiss
happened.
and her doilies.
Does make a damn good doily.
Yeah, I had this image of this massive lore drop and a fight with a crazy ending. I must be remembering some other show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, let's see what's happening here. World of Remnant CCT.
Throughout the years, the world of Remnant has seen hundreds of technological advances that have changed society. The most influential of all of them being the Cross-Continental Transmit System. Prior to the invention of the CCTS, long-range communication was extremely limited. The discovery and development of radio technology allowed for communication within the boundaries of most kingdoms. But communication with other parts of the world was restricted to the physical delivery of messages. With every alternative form of communication that was proposed, there seemed to be the perfect obstacle.
So, hunters were the
The
original
destructive
mailmen?
nature of the creatures of Grimm severely limited the
I
reliability
would imagine they would
of
have to be, or it could be
ground-based
accompanying the mailman, or the mailman wouldn't make
The
it.
concept of relay satellites orbiting around the planet was promising. Unfortunately, modern man has yet to make the technological advancements required to achieve spaceflight, as all known dust types lose their power as they begin to leave Remnant's atmosphere. Eventually, it
poor
was the
astronauts.
people of Atlas, the world's leader in science and technology, that developed the Cross-Continental Transmit System. It was revolutionary. Like radio, signals were sent and received wirelessly, though the content of these transmissions were not nearly as limited. Audio, video, images, and text were all capable of transmission, and eventually an entire online web of information was at mankind's fingertips. Currently, the system is supported by 4 primary relay towers, each located within a safeguarded area of the kingdoms. These towers allow for wireless communication within a kingdom through the use of devices such as scrolls. The signals become less reliable the farther a user travels from the CCT tower. And although smaller support towers do exist outside of kingdoms, they are constantly at risk of destruction by the creatures of Grimm. Shortcomings aside, for the first time in history, digital transmissions between kingdoms were possible through the use of slightly more advanced devices, typically found in homes and CCT centers. The Cross-Continental Transmit System has and will continue to advance the progression of mankind. However, if one of the 4 towers is taken offline, the entire network fails with it. A slight inconvenience during routine maintenance, but to be honest, I find the limitation somewhat poetic. No one voice is louder than the others, and no voice may be silenced without the rest. If the people of Remnant are to speak, then they shall do so together. Or not at all.
Okay, so the more I hear that man speak, the more he's slowly just becoming my favorite character.
Yeah.
Even though he does, he physically does nothing. He stands around a lot. But
Just the ambiance of his voice and
he's
what he
becoming
says.
my favorite character, especially when he's off screen.
Do you like him as the lore guy?
The lore guy.
The lore guy.
But I can't just say the lore guy is my favorite character because it's not somebody else. My favorite character in all of this is whoever that voice actor is.
Oh, the guy who does Osmond's voice?
And that narration voice, because if they're
Oh, the female.
but that's only
Oh,
if that is identified as the narrator, and that same voice actor also voice acts for the professor.
No, I mean, it's supposed to be Osmond doing the narration.
Okay, then yeah, Osmond's my favorite
No,
character.
because when he's doing that, I mean, in some of the other videos, we had the female narrator, who's just the narrator. a narrator. But yeah, when Osmond's doing it, he's doing it as himself. So
Yeah, no, then Osmond's now my favorite character,
Yeah.
especially when he's off screen.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. I will say, I know a lot of people don't like lore dumps and stuff like that.
Oh, dude,
Like
I
lore,
do.
I'm a lore junkie.
Dude,
Give me more of it.
I
Give
buy
me more
box
lore.
sets on DVD specifically for director's content.
Yeah.
Like, you can't get it if you watch it on Netflix, but I can definitely rewatch everything and stop and pause and go, wait, no, look, see, he's only using 3 fingers. What does that mean?
No, I'll rewatch lore episodes as much as I do fight episodes and stuff like that of a show. Just because I love a good lore dump. But all right, episode 7, beginning of the end. Oh, you know what? Hold on, I just realized we didn't actually talk about the World Around the video. We talked about Osmond being the narrator, but that was it.
I think that, oh, okay, yeah.
We didn't actually talk about the content of the video.
So,
Oh.
I do like the fact, I think, if anything, I had a lot of questions prior about, well, you know, do they all have to just go to the tower? Can they get one in their house? Their
Right,
phones?
yeah.
And all of my questions were like, Osmond answered them in the way that he does.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think that's probably why, is he said some things and we went, yeah, okay. And just like everyone else in the show does.
Well, he is a school teacher.
He is
Yeah.
he is something more than school teacher. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, he's like Dumbledore level school teacher. He's like,
If like Osmond, Dumbledore, Gandalf, the wizard from Monty Python. We need at least one more. I could see them all sitting in a room full of heavy smoke playing cards.
interesting.
Because
It's down the
they
hall
would-
from the room with all the dogs playing poker.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they would all that's going to be so much more intense in like the World League like tournament.
All
of poker.
right. I have to ask. We know Zwei is in there, but who else is in this dog card game?
Courage the Cowardly Dog for sure.
Snoopy.
Snoopy. Oh, yes. Snoopy is definitely in there.
Okay, so that's 3. We need 2 more. How many dogs are in that picture? Anyway, let's just do 2.
I think.
Odie can sit in for a few hands, getting away from Garfield.
Odie.
I don't know, but is he Odie on like the same level? Because I don't think I would throw.
Yeah.
I might
Yeah,
throw.
probably not.
I might throw Scrappy Doo. I know I wouldn't put
Oh,
Scooby Doo in there
Yeah.
though.
No.
Scrappy,
Scrappy. He'd
Only
be
good-
annoying as hell, but he'd
I have
he'd
such
be,
a loathing for Scrappy
but
Doo.
he would play
He
some
plays-
mean cards.
Oh, yeah. He'd definitely be able to. Yeah. Oh, jeez. I'm thinking other cartoon dogs. I don't know. All right, well, let's move on before
Yeah.
we go off. We're going way too down that far down that rabbit hole. All right. We know originally they had radio. They have radio, but low range
Right.
because we
It's only within the kingdom.
because
Basically, they have FM.
partly because no satellites
Right.
because dust does not work outside of the atmosphere.
Which I feel is a solid cop out. It's equal to like a wizard did it. Oh well, I can't argue that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, it makes sense. I mean, it's open-ended enough. We don't know exactly what it is. Is it the actual absence of atmosphere? Is it distance from the planet's surface?
But I'm
Is
not-
there
but-
something in
Definitely
space
raises some
that negates
questions
it?
on how dust works.
I guess I'm just not really so concerned with how dust works outside of the planet. I'm more concerned with like
Why it works inside the
I
planet?
don't even care why it works. It's just readily available. It's part of the world, so I'll accept it. Just like if somebody was like, "Yeah, we use, like dilithium crystals." Okay, great. If you can show me a unit of energy conversion, that's fine. If not, I'll accept it.
As a Star Trek nerd, I have to I have to say, I do want to know as much as humanly possible about dilithium crystals.
Right. But you're not suddenly worried about how somebody's shift works on Earth, even though they don't make money. How does it? Have you been explained? You've never fathomed why somebody can just I just walk into a bar and go, "Hi, I want to mix drinks right now."
How an economy with no money works? There's
Specifically, going all the way down to how do I get a shift?
well, it's some. I mean, it's.
Don't go into it, Ruby. But
Ruby.
that's that.
Don't bait me like that, dude.
That minute, tiny detail for me is, I wonder if they should go to the moon. It's more like, is she going to graduate or is she going to die? Is her dress going to get any longer? Like, how many marshmallows does he put in his cocoa? These questions and more.
The important things.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. But yeah. So that's a thing. Then basically it's that the CCT towers are basically internet
Yep.
because they do pictures and all that. Although apparently they somehow get around the curvature of the Earth problem without satellites. We don't know how, but apparently they do it.
Wi-Fi.
I mean, do we have any actual proof that Remnant is round? All we've seen is
Yes.
a flat map.
Nope, we've seen a globe.
That's right.
There's
That's
a
right.
globe
On Port's desk.
Either Port or Ublik's death, I think which one it is.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
They treat it. All of those towers are hotspots.
Essentially.
Well, but they still have to be able to have line of sight to transmit to one another.
They don't have to have line of sight. Not if both are picking up and receiving. It would stay within atmosphere.
No, but the signal won't curve. That's why you either have to have enough towers so that you maintain line of sight across the surface, which would be the support towers, but that's the whole thing of it's the 4 main towers, or you have to have satellites in orbit, which is what we do in the real world to get around the planet, because you can't send a radio signal from India to Kansas through the planet, direct line of sight. You can't send it through the planet.
We just watched a
It goes through
guy
satellites
go from
around
playing a gun trumpet to 4 of him playing a gun trumpet, and you want to tell me you can't curve a signal in atmosphere?
I didn't say that's not what they're doing. I said they got around the line of sight problem somehow, and we don't know how.
Oh.
That's what I said. I'm simply acknowledging that in as baseline real world physics, line of sight is a thing. So either the way these things communicate violates line of sight, or they can send signals through dense, like through the planet. The signals are intense enough to make it through their own planet to get to the other side.
If they're shooting their signals, here, I'll do it this way, guys. If they're shooting their signals in straight lines, eventually, before they leave...
Talk closer to the mic.
Sorry about that. So if they're shooting their signals in straight lines, what if they're interacting at some higher point? And that's how they're doing it. It's still in straight lines, but think a sphere, and then you take like a 4-sided die and put that sphere inside that 4-sided die. Anywhere where the straight lines intersect, they're picking up signal. They're also still spilling that signal out into nowhere because there's no satellites.
That would be the Death Star effect, where you can have 3 or 4 lasers hitting each other and then going out in a single beam, even though that's not how lasers actually work.
But they wouldn't be going
yeah.
out in a single beam. They would be crossing, and then there would be white noise spilling out into the universe.
It's more the point of the lasers crossing like that wouldn't actually affect one another in a way that would be detectable by the signal. Wouldn't be able to transfer or whatever. Anyways, we're speculating on stuff that's.
You guys tell us, comments below, all of that. We want to know your thoughts.
That's something I don't hear a lot of theories about. It's not something people theorize about a lot. The exact idiosyncrasies of the CCT system. Except for to say, wonder, who's the heck the guy who thought a system where if one of the 4 towers goes down, the entire planet goes black is a good idea?
Right.
Well, if you have 4 batteries in your remote control and one goes dead, the remote doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, it's a matter of only having 4 towers that, only a system where only one tower has to go down in order for the whole thing to go down.
The fact that if anything goes wrong, you lose all global communication.
There's no redundancy.
Who thought that was a good idea?
I think it is, especially in a world as hostile as they are. That way you can't say something like, oh, the 3 of us have decided to cut you out.
Well, and that's the point that
Yeah,
Osmond
Osmond
is
makes that
making.
point.
Well, yeah.
And I tend to think,
Is yeah.
barring any evidence to the contrary, I tend to think it's simply a limitation of the technology they're using, whatever fictional technology it is. That, no, it's just in the nature of the technology. If you don't have a complete loop going when it's running,
If the circuit's not complete.
if the circuit's not 100% complete, it doesn't work because of that's how that physics works or whatever in their universe. That's why I rationalize it. Until such time as we get more detail on how that actually works, and it's just open ended, then I just chalk it up that they're not using real world energy signals, so it's different. But
A wizard did it
essentially.
with dust.
All right, yeah, I think that's it for the World of Remnant video.
Hit play. I'm getting an itch for it.
All right.
Got to find out what happened to Mercury.
Dude, I want to know if he finishes that quilt. Ruby starts and it's all like soft and acoustic.
Yeah. Do, 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 do. Oh, that's not good. Oh, there we go. I'm hoping the audio is not desynced here, but I'm pretty sure this is in sync. Yeah.
I want to be strong. I'm sorry. I want to be feared.
What? Impossible. What did it? She went that way.
I want to be powerful.
Someone call the police!
How'd she do that?
How did you do that? Don't. Unless, of course, you want them to hear you.
Where'd she go?
What do you want?
I've already told you. And I don't like repeating myself.
I didn't do anything. Just leave me alone.
I know my fair share of liars and thieves. Stealing is an art of patience, coordination, and in a pinch, sleight of hand. But you didn't steal that ring in your pocket. You took it right before the jeweler's eyes. And he smiled.
Who are you?
Hi, I'm Karen.
You will question everything you know.
This is impossible.
I wish to take on an apprentice. Follow me, and you'll never be hungry again.
Thank you.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking for Marcus Black.
There you go.
That's the assassin?
And you're his son. We saw your fight from the tree line. He's taught you well.
Guess so.
What's your name?
Mercury.
Mercury. Tell me, are you anything like your father?
So what's in it for me?
We don't need him. Everything was going fine. Ugh.
Do not mistake your place.
My dad always said, if you need to know a city, ask the rats.
Well, hello, gorgeous.
So, let me get this straight. You could have gone to anyone for help. You could have made a deal with a gang leader, paid off some huntsman that had strayed from their righteous path. But instead, you choose to seek an audience with me.
You're the one we need. Your skill. Your ability to lead those beneath you. You're an exceptionally valuable man, Adam. And we've put a lot of thought into...
Then you're clearly not thinking straight. If you truly understood me, then you would know that coming here was a mistake. The White Fang is not an organization for hire. We're a force of revolution.
I believe our plan will be beneficial for all parties involved. I have an associate in Vale. He and I are working on a revolution of our own, but we can't do it without your forces. We need...
What you need is to leave. You are asking my men to die for your cause. A human cause. That is not an idea I am willing to entertain.
Very well.
What was that about?
Nothing. We need to finish preparing. The train will be here at dawn.
Wow, what synchronicity.
So close.
Yeah.
So now what?
There's another task we must attend to.
Excuse me, but I'm looking for a friend of mine.
Ah, yes. She was just here yesterday.
Remember the plan. Exactly as discussed. Not a foot out of place.
Right.
Horses are hard to animate. I knew it! I fucking knew it!
Sorry, what was that you knew?
But I assumed she looked similar. I was talking about his legs.
Yeah.
Are his legs also guns?
Well, we knew he had guns on his boots already.
Yeah, I thought they were his shoes, but now.
Yeah, now they're just built into his legs.
Now, becoming one of the 4, becoming a guardian, does your aura also get like a boost?
Not necessarily, not really, because the maiden powers exist independent of your aura.
So she's still running off her own aura.
Yeah. Amber, she can still have an aura break being a maiden.
I was gonna say, she is fending all 3 of them off.
Speaking of
There it
aura
goes.
breaks,
Now, is it possible to collect all 4? Yeah, that's their plan. He's gonna try and collect some of all 4, or if not all of it. Let me guess. She is going to hold. Is that a Grim?
that is a Grim bug, yes.
So she is the mother of Grim.
The huntsman severed the connection before it was complete. Yes, it's an emptiness. It burns like hunger. I like it. Yes, I will claim what is ours. Thank you.
We'll find her, sir. I swear on my life.
Forget it. It's time I return to Mistraland. What is this?
We could have gone to anyone for help, but we chose you, Adam Taurus. Our plan will be beneficial for both of us. Or one of us.
Dustin Cash.
So, which will it be?
Oh, so you're not even like really helping. You're being bullied into it.
There's not going to be a next time, Blondie.
Yang Xiaolong, stand down!
My leg! My leg!
Please, somebody help him! Can you do something?
We need to get this boy to a hospital. Grab a blanket.
You don't understand. He attacked me, I swear!
Stow it! You've already caused enough of a scene.
They're not real.
Here, we've got an
What's not
ambulance
real?
ready to go.
I thought those guys weren't real.
Hope they'll be okay. That girl won't leave his side.
We'll take good care of both of them.
Oh, Doc, tell me. Will I ever walk again? Ow! What's your deal?
Headache. One mind I can handle, but two is a stretch.
Well, you all performed marvelously. Driver included.
It's funny. They only use her. She's not part of the group though, because she's not in any parts of like when they're depicted as a group in the intro. She's not part of it.
She's kind of a new acquisition.
That was disgraceful. Completely uncalled for. Despite Atlas reinforcements, local authorities are still calling on any available huntsman to aid in
Well, 'cause she works for Torchwick, and Torchwick works for them, so she's like a double underling at this point.
Is this how you treat a patient? Ow, too tight.
Enough. Our Mercury put on a wonderful show. He was quite brave.
These things aren't exactly cheap, you know.
So what's next?
You and I will ensure that our next matchup goes just as smoothly.
What about me?
You get to lay low until the end. We wouldn't want people to see you on your feet and have this all be for naught now, would we?
Can do.
All right.
Yeah, that was something, huh?
That is something. We got some backstory. And I will point out, like I know I mentioned to you last week, or rather last video, that after when this originally aired, after episode 6, there was like at least a 2-week hiatus until everybody came back to 7. It was expecting the resolution of what happened.
Yeah, and they just
And
got,
then
And we got
this.
that instead.
And
man.
some people were so mad.
No, I
Got
think
teased.
I thought this style of episode was such a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, we were due for this. The
Yeah.
villain's been operating in such a cloud of mystery up to this point. We really didn't know anything about them.
And I like the
And
fact
this was
that
kind of catching us up on them.
we got information the same way a henchman would get information. We overhear something in the dark, and then you just so happen
Yeah.
to be in the room.
Yep. Yeah, we got a number of those little flashes.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, so a lot to unpack in this one.
Now, you had a epiphany moment real early on. What was that about? You had
about
my God, that's what that is.
About Mercury's legs?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah.
I noticed that he blocks a lot and fights a lot with his legs,
Yeah.
but at no point in time did he ever have like an aura effect anytime he got hit, or he never did like the like anytime
Yeah.
anybody blocks with their aura, you see it. He blocks with his legs, but you never saw it.
You would normally still see an aura hit just because if he's projecting his aura over his legs.
Yeah, but like anytime that he was just like in the midst of a hardcore fight, there were like the impact animations, you know, like to show that he got hit really hard. But he did the aura thing with like this, but I never saw him use aura when he put his knees up.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, well, maybe. And then they showed him and his legs were all messed up and bandaged and bloody and whatnot. And I was like, yeah, no, he's definitely got prosthetics.
Yeah.
I thought they were.
And then, yeah.
I thought they were going to be, you know, maybe not as technically advanced, but I did assume he had prosthetics.
Yeah. But
And then I also should have thought that they were guns, but I thought his boots were also guns.
yeah.
Not
Well, technically speaking, the boots could still actually be the guns, and the boots are just on the prosthetic legs. But I don't think they've ever actually shown that, like shown him take off the boots or anything like that, to see if they're all one piece or if they're detachable or not. I don't think it's ever been shown.
So does he unlace his boots or does he use an Allen wrench?
Like, I don't know. We've never seen him do that before, so yeah. But all right, well, we like you said, we started out with a dark screen
Yep.
and some dialogue. Cinder was talking to somebody, talking about wanting to be powerful.
Yep. You're so pretty. No, I want to be powerful.
Yeah. So we have a mysterious person here that we don't know who she's talking to. Do you have any thoughts? You think that's somebody in particular? Think it's
Nope.
somebody we haven't seen yet?
I honestly, it's so in shadow. I got no idea. I just know that she's got somebody she answers to.
Yeah. There seems to be a higher up.
There always is. Always a bigger fish.
Yeah. And then we get the little
Recruiting
bit-
run.
Yeah, and then we get the bit with Emerald, where we see how she recruits Emerald,
Yep.
stealing a ring from somebody by using her. We now know her illusions.
Yep. And that also, knowing how her illusions work is kind of dope. So long as she doesn't move, the illusion goes smoothly. But if she interacts with anything, like when she adjusted to draw her gun, and they saw the dust on the dirt or the dust on the road move, like, so she can project them minor or in a localized area, so long as not too much is going on.
Well, she makes a comment at the end about one mind is just fine,
Two is
two
a stretch.
a stretch.
Right.
Yeah.
So
she
she's
can
putting
only-
illusions directly into a person's head.
Yeah, she's not creating an external illusion. She's influencing the mind of a single individual.
That's why I said localized area.
Okay, well, I thought that could have
Because
meant
it
localized.
was in her head, and she
area,
didn't see Emerald standing there, but she saw the dust that Emerald created.
Yeah, well, because Emerald wasn't masking that; she was masking
Right.
herself. Yeah, so yeah, she can do it, but there's a limitation to it. She has to focus, and it's clearly something. Yeah. So she recruits Emerald, and then we get another dark scene where we hear the sound of Grimm and Emerald going, "That's impossible."
My guess is she created one,
You think, Emerald,
or she made one subdued or something.
so you think Cinder in some way
Well, 'cause
controlled?
she
or
opened up her
manipulated
palm, and a bug crawled out.
Well, that was after she put the glove on. She put that special glove on, and it manifested the bug thing, and it sucked the power out of her.
Was it a separate glove? Because you
Yes.
never really see her put it on, and then
you do.
when... Oh, do you? Okay.
It's
I
real
know
subtle.
when she gets attacked, it just kind of fades into her skin.
You see her. You see it. You see her real quickly pull it out of a pocket, and then it's kind of half off camera where you see her arm down here, and she does this, but it's kind of all off camera. You just see her arm motions like that, and then she pulls up the arm with the glove. So it's kind of a half. It's weird the way they animate it, where it's like half off screen when she does it. So it's hard to. It could be hard to catch. But yeah, no, she puts that glove on. She uses the bug thing, which goes until Crow cuts it off, and then it just like fades away. And at the same time,
Her
that happens,
sigil shows up.
the
yeah.
symbol on her back appears.
Well, and
So-
you commented during the Adam scene about how tight all of this is. When Crow's giving his report to Ozpin a couple of episodes ago, he comments about the fight he had with
Yeah.
them. This is that fight.
Yeah. Right. Then they go and they get Mercury.
Yep.
Well, they were going to get his father Marcus, who was an assassin, and come across him beating his father to death.
Yep.
And burning their house down. Given what we know about his father, who was, Mercury says basically he's just a crazy, heavy drunk.
Yep.
Clearly, that was not a loving father-son relationship.
It makes me wonder if his dad was the reason he has prosthetic legs.
Given that he had those bandages like that's not a unreasonable assumption.
Or he just kicked his dad's ass so hard that he just destroyed his own legs in the process.
Yeah,
I can understand that kind of rage. That's a lot of dedication.
I always kind of thought it was a matter of if his dad was also a kick fighter, training his son, pushing him past the point where the body really should be pushed and causing continuous fracturing of the legs, just forcing the kid to train.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be. We can come up with any number of unpleasant scenarios, given what we've been shown. And I will say, up to this point, that is the darkest thing we've seen in this show. I think a son killing his father when they were presumably in a fight that was the father presumably beating the son near to death.
Right.
We have hit a new dark point.
Back to back in these episodes.
Yeah, the tone has started to shift.
Villain's gonna villain.
Which, if you watch the intro, you kind of expected because, the intro in this thing is much darker than the others. So, But they get
Wasn't
Mercury.
this also the season that Rooster Teeth had to put out a statement saying, "Look, parents, watch this before your kids do to make sure you're okay with them actually seeing it"?
Rooster Teeth found out like early on that apparently a lot of really young kids liked this show going into it for the kind of slice of life school theme.
Mm-hmm.
So when they got to this point, it was kind of like, yeah, this show's going to get a little more adult. Everybody, parents of the younger kids may want to screen some of these episodes coming up in the near future. Make sure you're still comfortable with what your kids are watching. Yeah, because they didn't expect people, because their normal audience for normal Rooster Teeth content is not that young.
Right.
I mean, watch Camp, watch Red vs. Blue. Those are not shows for small children.
Right.
You know. Yeah. All right, so I get Mercury, and Emerald's not happy about it. You can already tell Emerald being a little jealous.
Yeah.
of
We
that.
don't need him. Everything is going fine.
Yeah.
I want to be your puppy.
Then they go find Torchwick. We get that little quick bit of dialogue where we hear him talking.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go to Adam.
Yep.
And it doesn't go well.
Actually, it
First
went
time
about
around.
as I expected it to, for him to have some kind of integrity. I still
Well,
did
for-
not.
yeah, for them, yeah.
Yeah, I still didn't expect him to.
Right away, just jump on board.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could say it went well in the sense that there was a possibility they could have just killed him.
That's true.
3 humans walk up and just to your secret base camp and
Wipe everybody out.
you know,
And then
and
ask
then,
you for help again.
well, yeah. Then they come back and make the point.
They told him for help.
Yeah.
Yeah, first they asked, then they came back and they told him he was cooperating. I mean, they technically gave him the opportunity to be stupid and get killed, but
Yeah.
you know that's,
The little bit with Blake showing up is a nice touch.
that is
too.
a nice little touch. We get a little bit of a time frame, a little time reference.
I also
how
noticed
close we are to the.
that whoever that woman is who's running around with the big mask who went after Yang, who looks like Yang, she's
Yeah.
got a very similar weapon to the head of the White Fang.
They both use swords.
But
They're red swords.
specifically, she drew a sword that looked just like his. Hers is just bigger.
Yeah.
She can change the blade. where it
They
looks
are
like-
slightly like they.
That
they have
was
the same-
because of the dust that she was using at the time.
Yeah,
Right.
they are different because hers is a dust blade.
Mm-hmm.
His just happens to be that color.
Oh.
So yeah, and like her sheath is the rotating thing with the multi blades. His is a sheath / shotgun because we've seen him shoot the blade out the thing.
Right.
And he can use it as an actual gun. So somewhat similar style weapons, and they do have a similar aesthetic, the red-black aesthetic.
Right. I just thought it was some.
It's a popular villain aesthetic.
Heard.
But yeah, no, that's definitely a noticeable thing. They have a similar aesthetic like that. So then we get the attack on Amber, on the Falmatum, where we see her.
Very well coordinated.
Yep, between Emerald's semblance and just the fact that there's the 3 of them, she puts up a good fight.
I
She puts
love
up
the
a hell of a
details
fight.
on her staff. The metalwork wound around the crystals at the top, and
Yeah.
her staff is a beautiful piece of work.
Yeah, it's simple but very effective for a weapon. We see
And
what
then
the
she
main
goes
powers.
Super Saiyan.
Yeah, and then we see what the main powers can do.
Yep.
They're very weather based
Yep.
and flight ability.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, they do a pretty good job. I mean, she almost takes out Emerald.
Almost. Yeah.
Almost. If Cinder had been a little later getting up and getting to her bow, she may have killed Emerald. So it was a close thing. And like we said, just because we have the main powers doesn't mean your aura works any differently. She still lost her aura.
I was gonna say, yeah, she took on all 3 of them, so her aura had to have been insane.
Or also, she was just really good at defense because of her abilities. It took a while for them to get to. It took that big shot with Cinder. Cinder did all 3 of the exploding arrows in order to
Finally break.
break her. Right.
That said, I mean, Autumn probably had a few levels on the 3 of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, her base power is just. But then again, at the end of the day, power is only part of it. You also have to have the ability to use it, and the general
tactical thinking, and skill,
commentability,
and all those other things that make a hunter a hunter.
If you're not smart enough to double check what's behind you while you're fighting the two people in front of you, it doesn't matter how powerful you are. You're still vulnerable to somebody literally stabbing you in the back.
Exactly.
So yeah. Which Cinder does. She puts an arrow in her back, and then they drain the power. She gets half of it. Crow comes in, stops it. Yeah, the bug thing. And then they, pardon the pun, bug out. And did you notice before they leave, after Crow shows up, Emerald uses her ability one more way before they leave. And this explains why back at the academy, even though Crow fought them, they say they still don't know who we are. She blurs their faces. If you watch.
Oh yeah, I thought that had something to do with Cinderella being like hot.
No,
I thought it was like heat rising.
That's Emerald's masking their faces so
Oh.
he can't see who they are.
Cool.
Yeah. So she can't. It's not just like whole objects. She can do small areas, and it has that level of nuance to it.
When she first gets approached by Cinder, it's something as simple as her putting a ring in her pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So that's the. Let's see here. We already talked about Mercury's legs. Another thing. Over the past couple episodes, have you noticed any repetitive sounds? Kind of a whoomp, 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 whoomp. Am I doing that right?
Nope.
Unless you're trying to say the TARDIS is landing, no.
No, I can't mimic it. It's a hard thing to do. I should have memorized what it was on there. Anytime Emerald uses her ability, going all the way back to the Yatsuhashi Koko fight, and the Yang fight, and here, there is a noise. There is an audible sound that you hear when she triggers her semblance. That's been there this entire time.
Never noticed it.
It's real subtle.
I don't think I've even noticed. I don't think I ever even noticed it.
Yeah, I certainly didn't notice it on the first time through. I don't know if I'm not sure if I eventually noticed it on my own or if somebody else pointed it out and I caught it. But yeah, so again, they give you the clues. The clues are there that something is going on.
Well,
it's just very subtle.
Yeah, with how people were just showing up and disappearing, yeah, it was also.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and then they make it abundantly obvious when she's just standing there and she's not there and there's the little girl there that isn't actually there. The other thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to talk about it here because there really isn't a better place to talk about this because this is something that kind of gets confirmed out of show because there was a lot of, you always see it, but there was never a clear clarification on what it is. Cinder's semblance. Because we see her fight now for the first time before she had the main powers. And we saw her do the thing with the arrows where they hit the ground and then
exploded.
And they explode. And she did a thing where
I assume that was just dust usage, though.
Does she have a gambit
it could be
ability?
Another case. What it is it's similar to that because we also see her where there's like something explodes. I think because Amber lit off a fire blast or whatever, and she takes like the fiery ash
and she condenses it
down into the obsidian,
right,
and shoots it off. Basically, she can heat and compress things.
Oh.
Yeah. Heat and compression, which is like with the arrows, where she launches the arrow, and then the arrow will react to like the gambit touch and will heat and explode. Whereas eventually, when she's using her main powers, she causes that effect at a distance. Like when she was fighting Ruby and Goodwitch in the very, very beginning. She causes that effect under them without using the arrows.
I wonder if she
at a
uses
distance.
the arrows as a focus point.
Well, because with her semblance, she has to actually use the arrow as the method of transmission.
Right.
Right, because it's the arrow she's causing to hit the ground and then explode. Whereas with her
maiden powers, she no longer needs to.
She doesn't need that. She can just use the maiden powers to cause the explosion. Yeah.
Does that mean that Ruby is gonna fucking break the sound barrier? She's gonna be like the Flash if she becomes a maiden.
Technically, she already is kind of like the Flash.
No, I'm talking like phasing through objects. Like, hi, I can run really fast. Look at my rose petals, but watch this. You know, it just like phases through existence.
I mean, it depends on, if she's using the maiden powers to enhance hers, enhance and what's the word? God dang it.
We can just stick with enhance.
Enhance, yeah, to enhance, complement. That's as a complement to her semblance, that the main powers allow for a multiplier effect. It's not necessarily going to be in the case of every semblance. It depends on the main powers, which are very much weather or elemental based.
Which would make sense.
Yeah, which is what we see here. Like she summons the lightning, and then she takes all those leaves, which I think is a cool thing, and she freezes them all
right
solid, and then just uses them all as a bunch of razor blades to attack them. Let's see. We talked about the glove. And we talked. All right. I'll come back to the Emerald's ability when she uses it in the arena, and she says, "One mind is I can handle, but two is a stretch."
Yeah.
Who is she talking about there? Who did she use her ability on last?
Let's see. I would say probably those two guards, or the two evac guys, the medics.
Yeah.
Oh my God! There's so much blood. I hope he's okay.
Yeah. Oh, because also when you see a shot of him looking at his leg, his pants are torn, and you see a little bit of skin. So clearly, she's generating the illusion that his leg is.
Oh, I thought
real.
he had skin from like the knee up, or his knee is robotic. So it's
yeah,
like,
he does. But you see a patch of skin below the knee.
Oh, I didn't.
And that's because Emerald is creating the illusion.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah. Well, I simply bring that point up because I know I guess for some people it's fairly obvious. It took me years to realize for some reason that's who she was using her semblance on.
It just kind of made sense to me because they were both like, that
I don't
poor
know why,
kid, but he's just sitting there going, oh, it hurts.
Because I just kept thinking, who did she use the semblance on? Whose mind did she screw with? And then eventually I looked it up online and said, the two medics. Well, no shit, the two medics. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the way they look down at him and immediately go, "Oh my God, this kid needs a hospital."
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, they would have just seen, oh, he's fine. It's a metal leg. Why were you faking an injury, kid? This isn't a real leg.
Yeah, sometimes in this show, they just kind of hand it to you, which is nice. It's not everything is like, oh, did you understand the intricacies of this scene? And no, they're just two guys. They're the last two people they saw. It makes sense.
Well, like I say, apparently that was too deep for me because it took me a couple of years before I finally figured that out.
Right, but if you're not looking if you're not looking for something that's handed to you, you're not going to see it.
Yeah, that's probably my biggest. Oh my God, I was so blind moment in this show. That was just staring me right in the face, and I puzzled over that so long, and yeah. All right, and then we get a bit at the end where Cinder's talking off camera to presumably that same person again, which is talking about how
where you get half the conversation.
The board of shadowy figures.
Yeah, where she's talking about how she only got half the power.
Yep.
And it feels like a hunger, and
but
she likes it. Yeah. It just kind of gives you an idea of what kind of person she is.
Dark.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Yep. And then we go back to the tournament, and we see the follow up on that, and the fact that, everybody, because Yang really did in fact hit him in the leg. She did do that. That's not what she saw, but that's what she did do, and everybody is just infuriated and mad and angry. And what happens when people get infuriated, mad, and angry?
Yep.
Here come the
Grim.
Grim.
Which I also thought it was interesting when they were, as soon as it happened, both the professors announcing were like, kill the feed. They just wanted to shut
Yep.
up. Don't.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's that happens in the real world. In the real world too. If there's an accident or something like that on a TV show or whatever.
Good commercial. Cut.
Cut the commercial. We don't need to be broadcasting people, suffering serious real injuries.
No Bud Dwyers.
Oh God. Oh. God.
And then the final little scene with the villains talking about their villainy at the end.
They're going to make sure
his knee.
the next fight goes as smoothly as that one did.
Yeah, so I like the fact that they're foreshadowing we're not going to see Mercury for an episode or two.
Yeah, tells him he's got to lay low.
Yeah,
and
because we
he's
can't.
just fine with that.
Yep, because they see him with the fake leg and questions will be raised.
I wonder if he's going to pull it's you! Look at what you did to me! And just show off one leg. Really mess with her.
All right. Any other thoughts, questions on this guy?
No.
This episode? Because this was pretty deep for an episode. This is the closest thing to just a straight up lore episode we've gotten.
Right.
Or a lore dump, because it's all just pretty much straight backstory.
Yeah, they've... I think they covered the villains very well without bringing them into the light because, villains got a vil.
I like that.
Your microphone is cutting out. Technical difficulties, folks. Stand by.
Test. Yeah, there we go.
We're back.
All right. Yeah, no, I know some people don't like when they play coy with what the audience member not knowing what certain characters are doing. I like that. I like being in the dark.
Yeah.
And have just like other characters or whatever, and then having the reveal at the end.
The
or something
slow
like this.
build makes the final payoff that much sweeter.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I mean, admittedly, the longer the build, the bigger the payoff better be.
Mm-hmm.
And like Battlestar Galactica suffers from that problem. That show builds up hype like nobody's business, but the finale they give you is not worth the hype they built up. Not by a long shot. But yeah, I'm a fan of stuff like this, where we get all right, now we're going to see this from the other side's perspective. And
Right.
Yeah.
This whole episode was about perspectives. I particularly like the perspective shifts anytime we see Emerald doing her thing, like during the Autumn fight, where they're switching between looking over Autumn's shoulder at what she thinks she's seeing to switching to the other direction and seeing past Emerald, where Autumn's just kneeling in the middle of the road.
We see what's actually there, yeah.
And then the whole idea of we're getting the snippets of the villains as they're doing things. This episode's all about perspectives.
Yeah. All right. I think that'll be it then for today.
Yeah.
For this one. If you guys like what we're doing here, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. You can find us on Twitter @InfoConfused. And you can find our podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, and here on YouTube. We are Informed and Confused. I'm Alan.
And I'm Bobby.
See you later.